Hello, hello, hello again. It's the episode 20. Today's date is September 21st. I'm here with Abraham. No, I almost said like Abraham. It's Alejandro Ibrahim of. Wait, what cohort are you, sir?
Technically, I'm cohort 11, but I came in with 12.
Game with 12. Yeah, that kind of sounds a little bit like me too. Like I wasn't officially with cohort 9 of the Men's Achievement Center. I kind of just hopped in with like 9, so I'm like 9.5 ish or something like that. But it's like, yeah, we're both Mac brothers in the Men's Achievement Center and everything. This is the 20th episode of the Mental Threats podcast. Pretty special episode. We're going to be speaking about topics in regards to like Black power, Black masculinity, stuff of that nature. You know, stuff from like the just things that just me and Alejandro pretty much agree about. And, a lot of people don't really agree with a lot of the things that we speak on. I know, like last time, yesterday we were talking about polygyny, and everybody just feels all spooked about that. I can never understand that.
The problem is that they always spooked about polygyny, and I'm like, hey, polygyny's been around for years. It's culturally related to black people. Why not do it? I mean, we in a country where they allow, the same sex to marry. I mean, hey, that's what it is. Why can't you allow men to have multiple wives? Many benefits to polygyny. My family had benefits from it. Your family had benefits from it.
I mean, I can't really say off jump. I know my grandfather on my dad's side had like 2 wives and everything. One was impotent and the other, was barren. And one was not barren. The one that was unbarren was obviously the one that gave birth to my father and everything. And it's just like, I feel like it's functional, really. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with polygyny as a whole. To tell the truth. And it's just like, I feel like that would be kind of ideal, like for me later on in life, if like, if I have enough money or if I can manage it and stuff like that, like polygyny would seem like something I would work with low key. That's just me and everything. I can't really speak for the next person, but it's just like, I always feel like marriage in America was kind of used to kind of depower us, like, cause black men were pretty much used to having multiple wives. So it's just like, to like help control us and to take away our culture away from us. It was just like, you're only gonna have one wife, and then I'ma still rape her and your children regardless, but you can get like one wife. And that's what I always found was so contradictory when it comes to how Christianity was like, introduced to a lot of our people in like America and everything. Cause there is like the original Christianity with Isa and everything like that. And then there's just like the whole like, distorted form of Christianity that has so much contradiction and everything. It tells you not to kill people, you kill people. It tells you not to rape and you rape. It tells you to not do all this other wicked stuff, and then like they do all of that. And then it's just like, but then again, like our African spirituality is always considered like, black magic and stuff like that. And it's like, what's your views in regards to stuff like that?
Well, my thing on African spirituality is this, right? I believe it exists. I don't, let me say it this way, right? African spirituality has a lot of similarities between Christianity and Islam. You go to the Yoruba people, right? A lot of them, they're Christian and Muslim, but they still worship the Orishas because they understand that they kind of work in cahoots. So when we talk about religion, a lot of times we have to understand that, first of all religions came out of Kemet, technically speaking. If you want to talk about that, we have to also realize that at the end of the day, all of them are really more connected, right? So our people always believe in God. So that's one thing. Like I always tell people, right? Hey, I don't care. Like personally, I mean, I rock with those Muslim, Christian faith, those who do the research to an extent, yeah. But if you do not, in my opinion, believe in God, then there's a problem because our people always believe in God. We've always believed in God since the beginning of time. So if you don't believe in God, to me, I find that to be a problem because black man's always believed in God, wherever he was, right? I think another thing we have to understand is that religion, is based all off interpretation. They have the Hebrew Israelites who interpret the Bible in a whole new different way than Christianity, right? Because Hebrew Israelites, they take in the old and the new. So they still saying, hey, don't eat pork, don't eat so-and-so because God said not to. But Christians don't do this. And I think a lot of people, for me, a big turnoff with Christianity in modern day is really the fact that people, they're Christians, but they don't really heed the word. You understand? I think a lot of people think that we can go hoop, holler, hop up in church, all that, and then it's saved, but it's not like that. God wants 100% of you. He understands you're going to sin, but he wants you to understand that you're going to sin. How you going to, do certain things and then say, oh, you're a man of God and stuff like that. It don't work like that. It don't work like that, in my opinion. So I think that's one thing that we all have to understand, especially. And back to the polygyny, one thing I'm saying is this, right? Do the research. It's 3 black men to 5 straight black women out here, all right? So what's going to happen to those other 2 black women? All right. You also got to do your research on the fact that the black male population is straight population is dwindling slowly. You understand? Because when you think of black males, yeah, it's a lot of us, but you also got to understand with the rise in these other movements, black men don't want to be with black women no more. They want to either be with other men or they want to be with different races. So you have to keep on doing the math. And so when you do the math, my thing is this, right? There's a black successful man out there making $100,000, $70,000 a year, right? And he has a wife. And this other woman wants a man. She sees how great he takes care of family and everything. Why not let that woman join that relationship? That's all I'm saying. And before y'all talk about polygyny and religion, our religion links polygyny, for I understand. At least the major two, Christianity and Islam, that black people follow. I know you can't find me nowhere in the Bible where God said don't do it. You can't find me nowhere in the Bible said God said don't do it. You can go in the Quran and it's no problem either there. So my question is, what's the holdup? Would I do polygyny? I wouldn't do it in the United States because I'm just be real. I don't got that amount of time to be taking. I don't think I'm that much of a Mac. I'm gonna give it a buck. But if I was in Africa, I probably would do it, and because it's also more easier to take care of kids there with what I'm trying to do in my life. So that's my take on the whole situation.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. I know you touched on a whole lot in regards to, how pretty much like our people have always like had some kind of connection with God or nature in regards. And I feel like this country is really like kind of like destroyed the black family in a whole lot by literally incarcerating a lot of our brothers and stuff like that, really removing masculinity in the household and everything. I know it was a struggle for me and everything when my folks divorced and everything, and I saw my father a lot less. And it's like, in regards to the only person I had to look up to basically like on a daily basis was someone, I didn't agree with a lot. And that was my mom's boyfriend and everything. And it's just like, we always like bump heads a whole lot because he would always overstep his boundaries and stuff like that. And it was really a struggle because I was like getting punked out in my own house. And I felt like I had no support with it. And I feel like that really does take a blow out of like masculinity as a whole and everything, especially over the years, and so forth. So it's like, a lot of things I never really got to learn, at a pace I feel like I should have learned it. And I feel like a lot of that had to do with like, being a recluse also. And it's just like, just stuff of that nature. And I just feel like, it really wouldn't kill to have like, polygynous type of relationships and everything. But I feel like, and I think we spoke about this like yesterday, like I feel like there's always been like a competition between black men and black women in this country. And I hate it. Like, why do we always have to try to say, oh, I can fuck this amount of like, bitches and everything. Oh, I'm gonna screw like this many niggas and everything and try to get each other jealous. We try to like flex and everything, try to prove that we're better than one another. It's a lot. When can we just sit down and just have a conversation where we can speak on our fears and everything? What are you so afraid of, really? We all got fears. Everyone does. And you could all be kept to yourself confidentially if you want to. But it's like, what do we need to like work on in order to like really restore the black family? Because it's not helping right now. This all the way how the media is set up right now and everything. Just bringing up the idea of polygyny seems so like, taboo. And I don't understand why that's so taboo and everything. And, any man, do whatever you want, however you want, whatever and everything. But it's just like at the same time to have multiple wives, I can never see like how that could be like, just not embrace as much. Mormons do it and it's like, okay, they're Mormons. Go ahead with it. But it's just like, and it seems like black folk do it. It's like you always think about the struggle, like, females fighting and everything. They just always focus on like the problems, but never even consider like how it can be like, how we can come to a compromise. And it's like, it's just, I always found that kind of just weird and everything. Like, wouldn't you like want to have like multiple wives and everything? But then it's like, I feel like when you look on the female, so it's like, oh, like, I don't want to have like, I like, it'll give power to like the man. And it's just like, that's why I always feel like masculinity, true masculinity is never embraced. And that's just something that it's just like, I always found to be just so just like what the hell and everything. Isn't that like the protectors, the people that are going to lead the home? Wouldn't you want them to be masculine? Wouldn't they want to be more power to them? Why is everyone trying to get on the same level of like equality? I believe in equity. I believe people just need what they need, and that's just it. Give them what they need. Don't just give them things just because they have it, And just hold on a second. Let's just pause it for a minute right there. Yeah, it's like yeah, like I was saying and everything. Like yeah, it's just I always felt like masculinity was in a sense, just under like attack, and I feel like our people are just always like the main target in regards to this, like the gangster rap. Like yeah, I know like say like yeah, that's what it means to be masculine, but they always end up in prison, and they don't really show like the side of how bad prison really is. Like yeah, they'll probably put on like Beyond Scared Straight for all the bad kids and everything, but it's like they always try to glorify like if you go to prison, like a place just filled with we all know what goes on in prison, which is like why you even want to get caught up in crime life to even end up in that predicament. It's just like and it's just like it's always an attack. Yeah,
You gotta understand, right? So black masculinity is under attack for a couple reasons, right? You said why do black men and black women fight so much? It's because black women are men now. Let's just keep it a buck, fam. Our women have been put in a masculine role and position when we integrated, all these welfare reforms came. Now women are in positions that men usually had. So now they're heads of households. Now they're the main providers, right? You act like a man. You wonder why a lot of black women have time dealing with black men today. It's because a lot of black women, number one, black women are the most educated women in America. So what does that mean? They're going for a lot of these corporate jobs. Corporate America is a masculine place. If you ever seen that movie Wolf of Wall Street, they curse, the men do a bunch of freaky stuff. Women are now filling those roles even more. So how is a woman who works in a masculine aggravated place gonna come home to a man and give him and be feminine? It's not gonna work because she always gonna be on the defense. Because she always gonna think a man trying to check her. She always gonna think a man trying to take a position. So what happens is that black women have now become black men. There's something called ma'at, right? It means balance, right? There's no more balance in the black community because we've allowed women to become men. Black men are not becoming women. Just look on the TV, bro. We are beginning to be demasculinized to the point to where we accept all this BS. Y'all look at the little Nas thing. Yeah, I'm talking about it. I'm just being real, right? That's a man dressing up like a woman. So y'all tell me how this promoting black male masculinity. The black man, number one, I'm just gonna be real. Black man masculinity, heterosexual, leader of his household, provider, all that, defender, killer, all that stuff. That's what we're supposed to do. But you gotta understand that in order to clearly get rid of the race, you have to take out the alpha males. And that's what's happened to the black people. I said black masculinity has been under attack since slavery, but that wasn't it. What happened was when we integrated. And what happened was when they killed off the Black Panthers, Nation of Islam, and some of the civil rights leaders because they saw the power of black male leadership. Black Lives Matter failed because they had no black men in the leadership roles. This is just evident. Women can't do it alone, and it's proven every time because women can't do it alone. So what we need to do is, first of all, we need to start coming together and understanding truly what a relationship is, okay? We can't be doing the same thing, all right? We can't be out here, women can't be out here trying to rule the man, you understand, telling him how much he got to do. Men have to be on the top of the relationship. That don't mean he can't hear his woman out because most definitely, I believe any black man, he reaches his pinnacle when he has his black woman. So that's a known fact. But we can't be doing the same thing. We can't be out here arguing with each other. You're talking about why are black men and black women competing now? That's just disgusting because why should a woman be competing with a man saying, oh, I did this, and a man saying I did that? Competition is a man thing. We're supposed to compete with each other as men. Women are supposed to be competing with men. That's unfeminine. That's unfeminine. Like you see women out here, they fighting all the time today. But back in the day, women, they never wanted to fight because that was not a feminine thing. So you're watching literally what happens when men are stepping out of their roles as leaders, right? Because back in the day, ain't no man gonna allow his wife to fight. He gonna talk to her husband like a man. They gonna talk it out. You understand? So that's what we got to do.
Oh no, it's just a. Hold on, so let me just make sure the things are. But yeah, no, I feel you on a whole lot of that stuff, man. Especially the Lil Nas X situation, and it's just like I remember when Lil Nas X was really just just like on some cowboy stuff, it's like a meme stuff, and that was okay. And even if he did come out, like it's fine. That is okay. That is ain't nothing. But then it's like I feel like they're just kind of like forcing it down our throats with the the pregnancy and the it's okay. Like cause it's like I know it's all jokes and everything, but how far is a joke where it's just like it's all up on social media?
Is this really a joke or is this their way of putting subliminal messages through? Because we can talk about this, right? We can talk about how it's a joke and everything, right? But you out here showing a black man. You see, you gotta understand, right? They're showing a black man trying to be a woman. What is that telling all these other young black men out here, right? Let's be real, right? When you see black boys now trying to be women, it shows the state and level of what it means to be a black man. It clearly shows one thing. It's safer to be a transgender. It's safer to be of another identity than a masculine black man because that's safer and you're more embraced. They don't embrace masculine black men out here on this TV. If they do, they always essing on them. Let's just be real. They're always pooping on them. But When you out, but who gets embraced? Lil Nas X, all of these, they're saying it's safer for you to do that than to be a heterosexual black male. So they're literally changing the narrative of what it means to be a black man. They're telling you, hey, do this and you'll be safe. Dwayne Wade's child got so much publicity and everything for doing that. But how come the child that we know that is a young boy who's enrolled at Southern University, he ain't getting much publicity for it? Michelle Obama wanted to interview Dwayne Wade's son, but she don't want to interview this young man who's getting a degree in college, and he's he's under the age of 20, and he's a young man. I think that boy was in middle school. He went to Southern University. He's smart, educated young man.
Yeah, they never want to put out the people that are just educated. Like that's the thing with masculinity. It's so distorted, and that's what it says like with our white male counterparts. Because I feel like there's less pressure there. Like a white dude can just be average, make a good job and everything, have like wear Vans.
There's more white guys to go around.
Yeah,
straight. It's not the same for the black community no more.
Hey, but we don't know for sure. Like, you don't know like what people are doing, behind closed doors.
We don't.
But it's like it's more embraced to be like masculine, like in everything. It's more. It's like like when a white kids can grow up with a family like with a father and a mother. It's everything, and they already have values already set and everything. They go to church often, stuff like that. And it's like I kind of started with the Catholic Church a little bit, but then my folks, Catholic, it's really not, But whatever, it's just it's still like even as a kid and everything, like you already have like everything was nothing was really too contradictory back then. You know what I'm saying? However, the older I got and the more I saw just like my folks falling out, divorce and everything, all this contradiction. I'll go over it in like next in a couple episodes and everything. It's just like a lot of that can really wreak havoc in the household and everything. And that's what this society wants. That's what this system shoots for and everything. They take the most masculine.
They don't want the household. They don't want the household no more. Yeah, right. They don't want it. And another thing is this, right? We don't, as black people, we don't care about marriage anymore, right? My cousin, she played softball in high school, right? So all of her friends went to college, right? By the time they graduated college, 22, they were all married, only except one. But all the black girls who are on that team, none of them are married. See, we got to understand that white women are different than black women in the sense that white women, they go to college, they're looking for that man. Black women not. You understand? Everybody talks about this HBCU experience, and some people, they put part of it is just having sex around. That's bad because that's leading to us not having these functional families. Because you got to understand, a lot of men ain't getting married for one reason. Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? Okay? And who's out here trying to really get married? That's another problem we got to have. So we got to have these discussions with ourselves. What are we doing that's wrong? And it starts with us not trying to get married anymore. In the 1960s, black men were more likely to get married than white men. Because you got to understand, when divorce became a thing really in the 60s and 70s. But you got to have to understand that what always happens is this, right? White people do it, and then we adopt it. Divorce became a thing in the 60s and 70s, right? It was not common in black households. It was not, but we adopted it because we always latched onto their culture. So one thing we got to do, we got to have a cultural divide. We got to say, hey, we're not doing what the white man's doing. We're doing what black people are doing, right? The same thing with feminism. The same thing with all these transgender things. White men been doing that for years, but all of a sudden we hopping on this train because we want to hop on all this Lil Nas X thing, right? So it really comes down to the level of respect or the level of seriousness we have as a people.
I don't know what's up with all these damn alarms we put on. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, seriously, like I seriously feel you on a lot of this and everything. And it's just like, I look back on my time in school and everything growing up, I was like a bigger, taller dude and everything. But it's just, I had the sense that, like, I still had like a good heart in a sense. Like I wasn't like the type to like throw my weight around and try to bully people and everything. Like I laugh with friends, that's it. Like I guess illustrations where it's like I was intelligent, because when you're more comedic, the most masculine kids are the ones that are just like more like that are intellectual and more like comedic. You ain't got to be the strongest. You ain't got to be the most powerful. Masculinity is just like a matter of it's more of a mental thing. So it's like I
think that's a big misconception, right? Because a lot of people, we think we gotta be like football playing all to be masculine. No, the smartest men out, the best warriors are usually the smartest warriors because you don't have to work as hard to do what you want to do, right? So I think we have to understand this. So Before a lot of us start seeing masculinity as this man thing, it's really about your intellect and level. You have to understand, smarts is what's gonna get you around in this world. Not how much you weigh. The biggest dudes is in prison. The biggest bodybuilders a lot of times they in prison. But where are they? They're in prison because they ain't got no damn brain. So understand that your brain gonna take you a lot farther than your physicality.
Yo, really no, and it's just like it's just like even in school and everything, it's just like I feel like to be an athlete or to just be popular or whatever, it was just all just a matter of survival. And I feel like a lot of this stuff that we really take into like everything that we're doing day to day, it's just it becomes more and more like survival based as opposed to just preservation based. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's fucking us up like as a people. It's just like we just get along with everything as a means really just to survive. It is just like it manifests in terms of just like we see in the media. Keep in mind that's why I don't even watch the BET Awards. I stopped watching BET. It has nothing to do with like whatever y'all believe in, that's cool and everything. But because I just stick to streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, because whatever you want to watch, you can just watch on your time and everything. But it's just like I just feel like sometimes they can just be overdoing it. This is way too fast, way too quick.
It's a plantation. It's a plantation buck. It's literally like a plantation party.
Yeah,
All that
basically.
you out here showing our women looking like whores, out here showing our men looking like demasculated men. I mean, that's no disrespect, bro. I'm just saying you out here popping your vagina. That's not what we do. We're not out here doing. You out here these lyrics talking about he gotta pay it. I heard one the other day. Can you post me on your gram? No, you gotta have me a car. You gotta get all this. All of this sounds like a bunch of. Just sounds like it sounds like straight prostitution. And that's not us. That's not us. And we doing this because it sells. We don't even own BET. I think the Ashkenazi Jews own BET. We don't even own BET. So you have to think about it, right? All of these things out here that are out here making money, all this, we don't own it. So the question is really coming down to what are we going to do to stop this, right? And I mean, it starts with education. I don't watch BET Awards. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it for a lot of reasons. I didn't watch BET Awards number one because it's stupid. I don't watch it number two because what's the gain out of it? Like we don't celebrate real success. Real success is not you making a rap lyric talking about you literally running a train on women and all this. That's not successful. Success is us helping our HBCUs. I don't see one time they say, you know what, let's do an HBCU fund on BET. They don't do that. I ain't seen them run no HBCU commercials. What they run though? HIV commercials during the whole thing. So y'all really pretty much pushing this whole black people promiscuity thing. Like we complain about the issue so much, but we don't understand that we give time to straight up crap that gets us nowhere. So before we sit here and we talk about, oh, we're black, we're proud, all this, are we really, or are we just really a symptom of white supremacy? That's what we need to talk about.
Yeah, man, it's just it's just a different time, man. It's just like I feel like at the same token, it really just starts with the home a lot of the times, and then it's just like that's why it's just like I look back at like, maybe polygyny might have to be the answer to like a lot of our problems. Like we need to really see men in positions as being men, not as being scoundrels, not as being like promiscuous all over the top. Because it's just imagine if Future just married all his baby mamas and just actually treat them like queens and everything. But instead of just saying like, okay, you got a whole you fuck so many bitches, now you got all these baby mamas and everything, and then like somebody else is raising your kids. It's sad, and it's like you wonder to yourself, it's just like, I don't want to say like how do we get to this point in a sense, because I feel like I have a clue. And it all starts when like artists like Tupac, Biggie Smalls, Eazy-E, Pimp C, stuff like that. When they start taking out people that are really trying to elevate our folks, like the MLKs, the Malcolm X's. Once you take all the leaders out and then you replace it with like all these like whatever type leaders, and it's just like like we got people like Dr. Umar, and some people would maybe even consider Kevin Samuels, I guess, kind of a leader.
I'll say this. I'll say this, right? My position on Kevin Samuels is this, right? Whatever you believe about him, I don't really care. I think a lot of people have a problem with Kevin Samuels. They just don't want to admit the fact that the brother just speaking truth. You can't be 38 years old looking for a man, and you got all these problems. You got to understand that we live in a society where the black male population is small. And Kevin Samuels just letting you know straight up, either you get somebody young, or you probably going to die home alone with the dog. But what I think that a lot of people don't understand, that Kevin Samuels is making us have these discussions that we don't want to have, but that we do have to have. Why is it this way? Just why is it this way? And he's making us have these discussions. The thing about Kevin Sanders is that, well, I did saw a statistic. Kevin Sanders is showing you another thing, right? There's a lot of good black men out there, right? But they're just not getting the right black women. So Kevin Sanders, to me, he's showing a lot of what the good discussion is, right? As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the whole polygyny thing, somehow like Future couldn't do polygyny because Future thinks with his penis. Polygyny is only for those. Polygyny number one, and I forgot it wasn't really sexual. It was never. I was told really that it was for farming purposes. Cause hey, if you have 4 wives and you have like 17 kids, when you get old, there's no social security in Africa. But what am I gonna do? All them 17 kids gonna take care of me at one point in their life. So I'm never gonna be poor. If I have 4 wives, my grandmother, right? My great grandmother, she was probably in this relationship. She had her own coffee plantation. It was just for her. And her husband had 4 wives. He had enough money. And so women benefit a lot from polygyny. That's what you won't hear. A lot of them, they have their own economic wealth from polygyny. So the question you have to ask yourself is, do you know the history, right? Stop thinking of it from a sexual standpoint. You follow a lot of these Instagram pages, black polygyny. All they talking about is just, I mean, come on now. Let's just be real. All they talking about is having sex, having sex. No, it's deeper than that. So we have to understand that as well, too.
Yeah. People can't seem to just take the whole sex aspect out of relationship and everything and just really just focusing on connecting with the person's ideals, values, and stuff of that nature and everything like that. And it's just like, it really sucks because the only women that are really down for polygyny are women that actually respect masculinity. And I feel like a lot of women just have no respect for masculinity at all. When it comes to masculinity, it has to be kind of grown at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's not just there. People aren't just born masculine. It all comes down to how a lot of us are raised and what we're exposed to and everything. And then it's just like really trying to not trying to say level up in a sense, but in a sense to just kind of maybe endorse it, kind of enrich it. Like masculinity must be enriched over time. And a lot of that takes into just account of just you as an individual and just who you're surrounded by. So it's like if you're like surrounded in an environment that just emasculates you, that puts you down and validates you. Yeah, school does that a lot. And it's just like
school is run by mostly women. So how can you as a man really operate in a masculine zone? You're around a bunch of women. It don't work like that. You're telling me, bro, majority of teachers are female. They not even male. So how is a man gonna be able to like it don't make sense, y'all. And this is what we talking about. We talking about the lack of ability of masculine presence. So think about that. Just think about that.
yeah, it's like, I think in Liberia, I think they have like certain clothes. I think they have like a girls' school and then like a boys' school. I forget what it's called.
I completely believe in that.
Like, I'm cool with that. I feel like we still need to integrate to some degree, because we should be exposed to like women, like, like at a young age and building some type of relationship, even as elementary school kids, the whole, boys rule, girls rule type thing, it's a phase to kind of get past but with like relationship with our female counterparts should mature over time. And that's what works with integration with the sexes and everything. But at the same token, it's just like I never had my first black male teacher till I was in 7th grade. I think 7th grade. That was when the first black male teacher. I didn't get my first African teacher till I came into college and university.
I didn't get my first black male teacher, I think, until 5th grade, bro. I didn't get mine until 5th grade.
Okay, you're the lucky one then, yeah. Honestly, because it's just like
you, for example, right?
Yeah.
Your dad, he's not your parents got divorced, right? So you probably went around your dad as much, right? So think about it, what is that doing these single moms out here, right? Who don't have positive male role models in their kids' life regularly. These white women, bro, they do not know how to act with black men. They do not. You can tell black men, bro, we know each other. When I'm around a group of men, we're not gonna be the same when I'm around a group of women, right? And so a lot of men, they grow up around women, they take on these feminine natures. Think about that, bro. Just think about that. It's a science and it's logic to this. So we have to understand. That's why I believe in men and women being separated for a certain age. You can't integrate the two together because, I'm sorry, a man has to be a man, a woman has to be a woman. But you got to teach that boy how to be a man. You can't teach that boy along with women how to be a man. You have to teach one how to do the other. And I think that's what we need to do. We don't do, as in Africa, right? They have these cults, they call them cults, but it's really sororities, fraternities, all these things, teaching these boys how to be men. We need that. And we don't have that. And that's why we struggle so much. We want to sit here, we want to baby each other, but we don't want to hear the truth. That's another thing. That's what I got to say on that.
Yeah, man, it's just, it's a scary world, man, because this is just how it is, like, before a lot of us are having children and everything, and I be wondering, it's like, how can you bring up kids in this generation for real? Because it's just like, it's not like how it was in the olden days, people mature, cyberbullying is a thing now, so it's just like a lot of things, you could make a mistake at one age, and then they try to carry it to you, like, way at a different age and everything, like, maybe you lost a fight or something like that, but be a completely different person, a more better version of yourself, and then it's just like, on top of that, it's just that's dragged into you into like adulthood. And then it's just not just that, but it's just like with all the things that they got into the media too, like how can we sit down and even have a conversation really nowadays? So it's like how they push it. Cause that could be like the next cool thing now. I mean, Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner, like, and it's just like, we never really go into, I don't really know for sense of it, whether if it's a mental illness or not. Cause I don't want to be that kind of person. I'm pretty open-minded to where it's like, I'm cool with everything. But at the same time, it's just like to always like put it out to where it's just like, like, oh, you're a hero if you do this or you're doing that and everything. And then it's just like, it's just weird. I don't want to say it's weird. And I just feel like it's a little bit over pushing, like how much they try to push it down people's throats and everything, and it's just like we never really get to like see images or anything where, masculinity is like celebrated. You know what I'm saying? Like black masculinity is like celebrated. Where it's like, okay, you can be at a point where you can be like, you can probably be like Steve Urkel and everything. Steve Urkel is, I know people is like, he ain't the picture of masculinity, but I feel like he's like masculine in a sense, like, cause it's just like he stayed loyal to like Laura for many years. I don't know, people saying like, oh yeah, you're just simping or whatever, but he was like true to himself. Yeah, he was a nerd. Yeah, he was clumsy, but he was always like a good friend. He was always loyal to people. He was always there to give like a helping hand. Even if he did mess up, you never saw a sense where he was like gossiping on people, trying to be sneaky with stuff, trying to treat anybody other type of way. Hold on a second. What's up? Hey, what's good? But it's like, yeah, just stuff of that nature and everything. And it's just like you see less and less with like, the old show, like A Different World and everything. You see relationships between, males and females, positive relationships. A lot of it was positive. Even with Martin and Gina, it was a little bit positive. Even though it was kind of toxic at a point.
I don't like him dressing up like Shanae now, I'm not gonna lie, but that was still positive though. Cosby Show, positive. Come on, think about that.
Yes, and they try to dirty his name, talking about like I don't know about the whole rape allegations, because I don't want to have to take sides with a lot of this shit, because I don't know him personally. But dude gave hella money to Howard University. Dude was really, really always trying to enrich, like trying to process like building the black home and stuff of that nature. Just Howard University trying to pour money into like HBCUs as a whole and like bring awareness to HBCUs. He started the show A Different World on a fictional HBCU to give y'all a taste of like, you can go to a HBCU. Like college isn't just about just going to PWIs and everything, And it's just like as a kid, I had never really like knew about things like historically black colleges, even in high school, I wasn't even too aware of stuff like that. Cause it's just like, it wasn't until I went to like, community college, it's like my friend came to this school, but he got kicked out in it before I even, met up with him here. It's just stuff like that, man. It's just like, who knew that the best version of myself academically would be present at an HBCU? And they never tell you about HBCUs and anything when you're younger and everything. I feel like a lot of that's because my folks like made me go, well, mom, not even gonna say, but my mom's mostly made me go to like predominantly white schools and everything. And it's just like, it's just, sometimes I wonder how life would have been if how I went to like, maybe predominantly black schools. Like maybe how, let's just say like how would I really fare really? Like maybe, because I was always like an intellectual, but I was always put down as like, as being dumb or whatever over the years if I made like a little mistake or however. And that's another thing that attacks black masculinity. And and it's always under like, institutions where it's like, it's led by a predominantly white woman, which is like our polar opposite. So a lot of how we orchestrate things and how we communicate is going to be different. And I'm not trying to say, oh, just because you're white or a woman and everything, you're not going to understand. Because I've had some white woman teachers and they were like one of my favorite, best teachers. And it had all to do with them as an individual and everything. But at the same token, I had others that were, it was just like, they were more focused on just, just trying to like put you down or like in front of your peers and stuff like that. And like, you can't be a teacher and like do things like that. You should be dedicated to uplifting and building the child. And it's just like, I just always thought it was like part of life. Like, that's just me. Like maybe that's something wrong with me. And it's never anything wrong with you. You're a freaking kid. These are 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds and everything pulling you out of class, telling you that you're a waste of time, saying ADHD stuff. Crisis, yeah, ADHD crisis. They try and make you out like you have ADHD. You ain't got no damn ADHD. Ain't nothing wrong. Yeah, it's just the class is damn boring. It's just like you're hyperactive, but there's nothing wrong. Or like that's just, I always see ADHD is like this, okay? So it's like, you have people who are hunters and gatherers, and you have people who are travelers, right? People that just can't stay in the same place for a long time. They got to go somewhere else. Like, right? Like that's why, the human race kind of like colonized all over the planet and stuff like that. That's how I see ADHD, is the need to not just be stuck in the same place, to be bored so quick of being stuck in the place that you have to leave. That's why traveling is just something that I'd encourage too, like for people. It's just like who think they might have ADHD, like change your scenery. They could look around. So then like when you come back, you can appreciate like, what it is for what it is and stuff of that nature. But I don't think ADHD is a real thing. I think it's just how your mind is set up. People's minds are just set up differently, but they always try to like make it seem like people with ADHD need to be put on medication, and it'd be like the same stuff that they use, in the crack epidemic and everything, like literally just to throw our people up into jail and everything like that. So it's just stuff like that. It's just all a system, man. And I feel like the best way to hack into this system is to, and I know Dr. Walmart keeps talking about the school. I don't know if he made the school or not, but we need to make more HBCU like schools, like like historically black, like high schools, like, middle schools, elementary school, maybe not so much because it's just elementary school, but that middle school, high school, we need to have more of an HBCU influence, kind of like how we are like now and everything. Oh, a second, hold up. But it's just stuff like that. So it's just like, in conclusion, I feel like, when it comes to black masculinity as a whole, I should feel like it should be, a source to be enriched, and black femininity also should definitely be respected too.
Black femininity is very important. It's just a point of black masculinity. And I think honestly, I think black femininity and black masculinity are under attack. And I say that because a lot of what these women are doing is really masculine energy. Like, I don't know, bro. Some of the stuff they're just doing is stupid, right? You can tell it's masculine because women, like, I'm on a college campus, right? Women don't normally go looking for a man. It's the man looking for the woman. But, it's gotten to that point. So we got to both tap into our different aspects and understand that. You understand? So black femininity is also under attack because women who fight, to me, that's disgusting. I won't like you because I don't like fighting women. And men, who want to act like little girls, I'm sorry. That's just weird. I don't think a woman really wants that. But it all comes down to what are we gonna do? So that's how I see it. We need more safe places for boys to become men, and for women to become for girls to become women. And that starts with us understanding the purpose of each sex and coming together. That's the most important thing, in my opinion.
I know, like, Alejandro has a problem with, like, women that fight or everything, but in my case, I just feel like, there's nothing wrong with being strong, but there's also strength of mind, strength of spirit, strength of soul, strength of perseverance through adversity and everything, and, it's just, like, don't see this as just, like, an attack that, if somebody does disrespect you for them, like, maybe if you, like, want to defend yourself, ain't nothing wrong with it, ain't nothing wrong with it in the slightest, but you gotta keep in mind that not everybody is worth, like, reacting to, not everybody is worth, trying to like, engage with, like, physically and stuff of that nature, and it's just like, you really can't blame our sisters for real, because like, even with plantations and stuff like that, bro, they really indoctrinated us, like, to take our masculinity away, and really indoctrinated us for a black woman to have to, like, really be strong and really be powerful to, like, persevere themselves. So instead of, like, let's celebrate it to the degree where it's just like, you still persevered. You still built yourself up because nobody is as disrespected as a black woman. That's something we can all agree. The black man is also
Yeah, I
disrespected
mean,
too.
I think disrespect. Let me put it this way, right? Our women disrespect us, and I think when a woman disrespect a man, it's even worse because at the end of the day, that man's supposed to be the leader, and when he doesn't feel like he can't lead, the society falls, and that's a great example of the black household. Back in the day, women used to do a lot of things just to show appreciation for that man, but in today's society, it's as if the man doesn't matter, but he must slave for the woman, and we gotta change that too.
It's just it is what it is. At the same token, as black people across the world and everything, it's just as long as we can just try to support each other, build each other up, call each other out for our bullshit when we're doing wrong, and at least be respectful. Most importantly, let's just all be respectful towards each other. And let's not bring down black women. Let's not try to shit on black men. Let's not do that. Let's just sit down and talk and try to find solutions. Let's just try to really build upon ourselves all together. That's the only way we can survive as a people in this world, and it's just like it's no more existing, no more living. It's time to survive. It's time to really build. It's time for us to really, really start building our people up, and it all starts from how we're raised. Think about the children. That's all I can say. Think about the children, and always be considerate of the children as a whole and our future moving forward. What kind of world do we have to be? What kind of world are we making for our grandchildren? What kind of world are we making for generations past us? Let's think about that. It's just that think about that strongly. But who knows? We don't know how things are going to go. I went to a spiritual guide. They said I was going to live to be 80, 90 years old. We're just going to see where it takes us. Until then, it's just like I'm going to enjoy my time while I'm here on Earth. But at the same token, let's try to reinvest in the future at the same time. So it's like any last words from you, Alejandro?
If you're a black man, read the book called The ISIS Papers of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, and that will pretty much tell you what you got to do. That's all. I encourage everybody to read that book because that pretty much tells you the grand scheme of what they want to do to the black man. I want to thank you for letting me on this podcast. I appreciate it. I love doing podcasts, stuff like that, especially about topics that are important. Most people just talk about some crap most of the time, but I enjoyed it. So thank you, T. I really appreciate this, man.
Oh, it's no problem, man. I know you have a huge heart when it comes to stuff of that nature and everything, and I always respected that about you. I know that some people might message you from time to time, but I really think it is admirable and everything how you carry yourself and everything. You want to carry your family's teachings and stuff of that nature, because we need stuff like that in the future and stuff like that. We need stuff like that, and I know that you're gonna do great things when you get older too, for sure. And it's just I know, because it's just I know your heart and your spirit and your soul is dedicated to uplifting our people, and it's just it's just one of those things we need to dedicate to and everything. It's just that's just what I always respect about you, and I just feel just keep it pushing. Oh, it is. But yeah, thanks for being on the podcast, the Mental Thirst Podcast. Yeah, episode 20. Yeah, it's gonna be uploaded. I think tonight. I'm gonna just upload it when I can. So yeah, thank you again. All right, peace.